Hey everyone, we're back with our first adventure of the evening, which I've entitled Rub-a-Dub-Dub. But before we get into it, we're going to take a brief moment and introduce our heroes. And starting out tonight, let's begin with Zurdan here. Good evening, Zurdan.
Ah, yes, hello. It is good to see you once more.
It's nice to see you as well, Zurdan. Tell me, how have you been as of late?
Oh, I have been wonderful.
Rumor on the street is that you have some pretty significant armor these days.
Ah, yes, that is very true. Ever since I got that golem armor, I feel very invincible. Maybe that's the wrong term.
I mean, if you feel invincible, then they say confidence is one of the strongest assets that one can bring into battle. How do you feel overall, Zurdan? Now that you're starting to kind of make a name for yourself in the lands of DnDTime, you're setting out for the second time today.
Oh, I feel absolutely wonderful. And as I said before, and in addition, I'm still trying to find a use for the bird.
The bird, you say? Which bird are you referring to?
Oh, but last week I caught a magpie with my bare hands and fed it seed. Now I keep it in a bird cage.
You just carry the bird around with you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the bird's gonna be any useful, but you know.
But it's good to have a friend sometimes. That's nice. I can understand that.
I'm considering selling it. I don't have much use of a bird, but let's see how it goes.
Well, Zurdan, I hope have you named your bird?
No, I have not given it a name. I'm not good with pet names.
I guess we'll have to we'll have to see if time maybe finds a name for them over the course of your adventures. But for now, I hope you and your bird companion have all of the utmost success and best of luck on your journey today.
Very well.
Very good. Next up, we have joining us a brand new hero here in the lands of DnDTime. We have a PJ with us, or Phillipstein Jaawarski. Did I say your last name correctly, PJ, or your full name?
Yes, that is absolutely correct, sir.
But you prefer PJ, it would seem.
Correct. It's a little hard for some folks to dwell on the whole name, so I find it's much easier and quicker just to get to the point.
Individual of efficiency. I like it, PJ. So, PJ, you're a new hero here in the lands of DnDTime. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself? What you kind of bring to the table as an adventurer, perhaps why you're out adventurer?
Well, I used to be part of a free party of soldiers that went around town to town helping those in need. And, well, you could say our main comrade that supported us financially came upon some ruin in a bar one with some ladies. And, well, so now I have to go out on my own and earn my own keep, as they say. And so I've journeyed out into the world to make money and make a name for myself.
I think that you will find no better adventuring company with which to make a name, as this is one of perhaps the most prominent, if not always the most reputable, at least the most prominent adventuring companies in the lands of DnDTime. So all the best of luck on your maiden voyage today, PJ, and I'm glad to have you.
Well, thank you very much, and appreciate all my new comrades, and can't wait to see you all in battle as a former soldier. Join pride in taking in the combat.
Likewise, I look forward to seeing what you're able to do. Excellent. Welcome again, PJ. Next up, we have joining us another brand new character, another brand new adventurer here in the lands of DnDTime. We also have Daisy May with us tonight. Can you hear us, Daisy May?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Welcome, Daisy. Do you prefer your full name, Daisy May, or just Daisy?
I don't care. Whatever suits you.
All right, Daisy. Would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself? What brings you to the land of DnDTime, perhaps, or what your skills as an adventurer are?
You know, I see them wizards all around, and I'm like, and I see all the folks walking around, and I'm like, y'all, I could be wander about instead of being an introvert all day. So I'm like, I'm gonna go on an adventure.
Adventure.
I'm gonna join a quest. I'm gonna join a quest.
I think I see what you're saying. Adventuring almost for adventuring's sake, just to kind of get out there and see what the world has to offer to you. Is that fair to say, Daisy?
Yeah.
So Daisy, what's your skill set? What do you kind of do as an adventurer? What do you think will make you a valuable asset to Bartholomew's Adventuring Company? Like some of your abilities, things like that. What do you bring to the table?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can talk to in different. I could talk in a certain language. Does that?
I mean, whatever you think would be valuable. Absolutely. The ability to speak in other languages, be able to commune with different races, enact diplomacy in all manner of situations is, of course, a useful skill. And if Daisy May can bring this to the table, it's no wonder that, you've been hired as a member of the company here. So, Daisy May, are you excited to kind of get out there and roam the world and kind of see new sights?
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be? I mean, some people are more of an introvert than you think, but I'm like, I need to break that wall. And I'm like, I want to see places.
I believe the correct term is breaking the mold.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Well, that's a whole nother wall, which has maybe been bent and destroyed around here more than we care to admit. But for now, Daisy May, I would say, well, it's a brave choice to step out in the world in this way, and I wish you the absolute best of luck and success in all of your endeavors today and here forward.
Thank you.
Of course. Welcome, Daisy. And last, but of course not least, we have Nomial joining us as well. Hello, Polly.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. How are you?
Quite well, thank you.
Oh, good. So, Polly, tell me, how have you been? What have you been up to in the lands of DnDTime of late? Have you been, learning any new maths or equations or anything of that nature?
Not too much. Just, going about day-to-day work, mostly.
What is your day-to-day work, Polly? When you're not adventuring in Bartholomew's Adventuring Troupe, what do you kind of do in the downtime?
Oh, it's mostly lots of boring paperwork involving numbers and whatnot. Of course, the Green Sun usually takes that paperwork and makes it longer than absolutely necessary.
It's somewhat incomprehensible, I would imagine.
Yes, at times, but but when you can comprehend it, lots of people tend to hire you to deal with it for them.
That's certainly it's certainly a rare skill, I would say, in the lands of DnDTime, the ability to just file simple paperwork, or I guess not simple paperwork. So it sounds like, Polynomial, when you're not working as an adventurer, you have just a desk job.
Yes.
A real dual life, it sounds like, but you seem happy with it.
Yes, it allows me to use my math skills. So.
Hopefully they will come in handy in your quest today, which, if we may jump into now, welcome, Polynomial. So, without further ado, the four of you find yourselves standing around Bartholomew's shop. For those of you who may not be unaware, where Bartholomew is the quest giver here in the lands of DnDTime, and the individual that you have kind of spoken to about your employ in this adventuring company previously. And as you walk in, he kind of speaks up to you, this old wizard, kind of long beard, blue robes and hat, very archetypal wizard, as he speaks up to you. Greetings, adventurers. Welcome. I was glad that you were all able to make it out today.
Thank you, Bartholomew. It is good to see you once again.
It is good to see you as well, Zurdan. We have something of an issue today. For starters, Mr. Jaawarski and Miss May, it is good to see both of you as well. I trust that you are ready for your first endeavors into the adventuring lifestyle.
Yes. Fine.
Definitely.
Good. I think this should be a relatively easy one we have for you today to start with. The request was simple. A gnomish woman out in the central city said her brother has been in the bathtub too long and has not come out. Says he got lost in the bathtub. I don't know how big the bathtub is, but I imagine, well, sometimes we get these sort of puff jobs where people will just sort of, the nobility and such will pay too much money for a small task. But all to your benefit, it should be a quick profit for you today. So I'm going to get you out there. You will speak to her. They have a teleportation circle actually directly in their house, so I will be teleporting you straight to their manor. Any questions before I send you on your way?
Is the boy human?
Gnomish, from what I've understood. Him and his sister both.
Okay.
I can see how they got lost in the bathtub.
Yes, I suppose maybe proportional to their size. I don't know how large the bathtub was, but I guess you will have to discuss the details with his sister. I did not receive a name, but you might ask. Very good. Anything further I might answer for you?
What's the client's name?
Oh, I am unaware. They filed for it unpersonally. Well, I was told that the that the name of the brother who was needed to be rescued was Polgrim. But I do not know the name of the sister who hired us. She did not give it to me when we spoke. So.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to tell you, Mr. Wizard, sir, your shop is really, really nice.
Thank you very much. I do take a good deal of pride in it. I have spent a good time arranging things through my. Thank you. Kind of puffs up a little bit. Seems to like the compliment. Because yes, perhaps if you are victorious, you'll earn some our proprietary currency, Bartholomew bucks, and you might be able to purchase some of the fine items that you see upon display.
Are they regular goblin?
No,
gnomes?
no. As far as I'm aware, whatever a regular gnome may be, they are gnomes. They are not. If you are asking if they are of the city, if they are trigger gnomes, they are not of Sokotoa. They're not of that particular region here in the land. So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you don't have anything to fear in that particular regard. I would think, but I cannot say for certain. All right. Well, in that case, without further ado, I'm going to send you right off in going once, going twice, and he snaps his fingers, and the group of you find yourself suddenly transported. There is no sound of energy kind of fluctuating, no kind of feeling of shifting. It's just you're standing in the shop and then you're standing elsewhere. And that elsewhere appears to be kind of a very nice lobby that you're, what is going on with this control? Okay, cool, it's working. A very nice lobby. There's kind of a teleportation on the ground, circle on the ground below you that's slowly sort of simmering down. And you're in kind of an arcing chamber. On the far side of it, you can see like what appears to be a gnomish butler that's sort of standing in wait. There are chairs and various kind of plants and things. But there's this butler that kind of comes in. You all appear in the space, and he just looks at you and kind of offers a deep bow towards the four of you as you come in.
I offer a bow in return as respect.
Hello there. I have been expecting you for some time now. Bartholomew informed us that you would be arriving via teleportation circle sometime this afternoon. Shall I show you to the mistress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
It's so clean, it looks like IKEA.
I'm unfamiliar with this IKEA, but your compliment is noted. We do work hard to make sure that everything stays immaculate. The staff will be notified of your praise. He kind of offers another bow towards you, Daisy May. Come this way. Her lady is waiting. And he begins stepping off through the manor. The kind of architecture is very grandiose, but it's also in certain places strangely tight. Like you go up the staircase and it's kind of this big sweeping thing, but it's not as wide just as you would expect a manor staircase to be. Like the steps on the stairs are a lot kind of awkwardly closer together because everything is sized for gnomes, even though it's just a very big house for a gnome. So as you kind of walk through, all of you are normal, except for perhaps you, Polynomial. As a goblin, you are probably pretty comfortable in this aesthetic, but I imagine the rest of you are a little bit off kilter with this kind of weird juxtaposition between the big manor and the smaller details. But the butler quickly leads you through the area to where you see eventually a large kind of double door after going down through some hallways, and sitting across from it you can see a gnome. She's wearing a very elaborate dress. She kind of stands up as the group of you approach and looks over at you. Oh, thank God that you are here. Hello all of you. Hi. I am Lady Ilya. I have hired you for this particular endeavor. I need you to get my brother.
Yeah, we understand he got lost in the bathtub.
Yes, I did not want to go in because it's my brother in the bathtub, and I know that he's probably, I don't know how he bathes, but I don't want to really find out about that. But he's been in there for maybe 5-6 hours, and he has not come out, and I've called out. We did send a male servant in, and they went in and they looked in the tub, and apparently in the tub, well, my brother is something of, what do you call the people that do spells and stuff?
A wizard?
Well, there's actually several kinds that do spells. There's wizards, sorcerers.
He's a magic doer of sorts. It's fun for him. It's sort of a hobby that he undergoes. Usually it's pretty harmless.
Does he study magic, or is it something, or...
I don't really pay much attention to it, honestly. I always thought it was a little bit silly. I don't know what...
How big is this bathtub?
It's large, but that was a point I was actually coming to. You see, one of our servants went in, and when he went in, he said that the bathtub had fish in it. It does not normally. There was bubble baths still at the top, but there were fish in the bathtub, and I think maybe he turned himself into... He has done some type of magic here. He's experimented on it before. I know that he's enchanted the bathtub to allow people to breathe underwater. He likes to swim. Sometimes he'll just kind of sit down at the bottom, and he's enchanted the water to be able to be breathed in. Interesting. Like I said, it is these cute little tricks that he does.
Sounds like a whiz-officer.
A whiz-officer, maybe. I don't know the terminology. I'm so sorry.
It's a combination of wizard and artificer.
I'm sure it is, yes. She just seems kind of like... She seems very unimpressed with any discussion of magic.
Very well. I think
Can you show us?
What we need to do. Where is the bathtub?
Yeah, can you show us where it's at?
No, but Bertram here will. And kind of pats the gnome butler on the shoulder. If you could lead them into the bath. If you could just bring him out, just make sure... Well, I mean, don't have to bring him out. Just make sure he's okay. Just make sure he's okay, is really what it comes down to.
How hot is this female?
I mean, she's on the older side. She's maybe like... in gnome years, she's like 280, so maybe like in her like mid 50s-ish. She looks good. I mean, she's a gnome. They don't age. They age pretty well usually. But she's on the older side. where she's very finely dressed, carries herself well.
I will follow the butler to the tub.
Yes, right this way. And he does kind of like knock. Just one last time, we're coming in. All right. And he just kind of opens the door and leads you in. And the interior of the space is steamy. You can see that it's a little bit tough to see through the mist, but the bath that you walk into is luxurious. You can see there are like jacuzzis, a number of like different showers. There's a whole like station set up with various like soaps and things like that. And the butler kind of begins walking across to the main central bath, and it's almost more like it's more of like an in-ground jacuzzi than it is like a traditional like bathtub or anything. But there's kind of a nice little few steps leading into it. There's kind of steam coming off again. The thing he speaks up. The thing that made me particularly worried is, well, the master never bathes without his rubber ducks. He takes them with him, well, everywhere, and. Well, there are no rubber ducks on the surface here where he's bathing. And also, as you can see, there are, I believe that's a flounder? Those aren't usually in bath. I didn't even know this water was salinated.
You maybe mean wooden ducks.
Wooden ducks, perhaps. I believe the ones that Master uses are a rubber, a bright yellow sort.
I believe I understand what this object is.
Did you consider that he might have turned the ducks into real ducks?
Part of the fish.
We had not, but the room only has one exit. It is the door we just walked through, so he would have come through the ducks. If the ducks weren't in the space, if they were here, we would see them.
And it's
He clearly drowned the ducks. He was trying to get back up, and he pulled the ducks under the water. He clearly drowned.
How do you know he didn't drown himself?
Because then the magic would likely have dissipated by now.
Yes, well, as it said, he sometimes likes to sleep underwater as well, so he has made sure that you can't drown in this pool. He could be down at the bottom.
Are there any?
Well, there's no.
anything
I guess we don't
here
have a
that
choice
we
but to
can
go
be
down. Polynomial.
I volunteer as tribute.
Polynomial's just walks into the
volunteered.
bathtub.
This is our job as adventurers, Daisy May.
Let's
Okay, fine.
clear the soap suds off the top of the water, so we can get a better look at the fish.
Yeah, absolutely. You begin kind of. How are you doing it? You just have like a. Do you have like a weapon that you're using to?
No, just gradually moving the suds with my hand off to the side.
Okay, you kind of lean down and push a few away. Go ahead and make me a perception check as you look into the pool here. All right, yeah. So as you kind of move some of the suds away and peer into the bath, you can see a number of what looks like almost tropical fish that are kind of swimming around at the top here, kind of moving about in schools. And as you look down, the first thing that you notice is you can't see down to the bottom of it, but it seems to extend a pretty long way. From what you can see, at least one of the fish that you're looking at, it looks on the larger side. But the one that you're seeing there is maybe like 50 feet down, and it's not at the bottom. You can't make out what that is. It's just kind of like a shadow or shape that's moving down there. But there's something funky obviously going on with this bathtub beyond it just being enchanted to let you breathe in it.
Wait, so anyone can breathe in this water even if you're not a fish?
That's what the butler said. You haven't tested that.
Polly walks into the tub.
All right. Yeah, Polly, you begin taking kind of some steps down. You get down to your head height. Do you submerge?
Yeah.
And once you get there, I imagine you instinctively hold your breath, but do you let it go once you get in?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Polly, you are able to breathe. It's maybe a little bit strained. It's not like breathing air, but you find that you're able to kind of just intake water and exhale it. You're breathing out a lot of bubbles as you're breathing in a kind of a strange way, creating kind of little clouds, whatever the enchantment, little clouds of bubbles. So whatever the enchantment is probably doing that.
All right. So
Did you take the rope with you that I offered?
Polly sticks her head above the water and says, "It's fine."
After your first couple steps into this bathtub also, you can see that like there's a spot where you would step down and presumably it would be the bottom of the tub, but there's just no bottom. It just seems to just go.
After he says it's fine, I do a straight-on cannonball into
Excellent.
the
Would you care to make me an acrobatics check for the grace of your cannonball?
Sure.
And I don't know how familiar you are with Roll20, but the way you just make checks is just by clicking on the acrobatics skill on your character sheet.
Okay. Okay, I'm not sure. Do I just roll?
No, so on your, you have your character sheet open now, Daisy May? If you go over to the section of your skills and look where your acrobatics is, just click the word acrobatics and it will pop up in chat.
Yeah, that's how it should work.
Yeah.
Do you have your character sheet open, Bean?
Yes, but where is it?
So are you on the
that
In
on
one.
the
the
front?
skills.
I got it. I got it, Dendere. On the front page where it says like, do you have like your hit points and your armor class and initiative and all that? Do you see it?
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Okay, there you go.
Now click the
And then
word
just
acrobatics.
Just click the word acrobatics. It should pop up. It's the one all the way at the top of the list of skills.
Meanwhile, while they figure that out, I'm going to take my cape off because I don't want it to get wet. And what I'm going to do with the bird, this is no place for a bird, even if they can breathe underwater. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bird out of the cage. I'm going to perch it on the edge of the tub.
We have something of an aviary here, sir. If you're interested, we could allow your bird to fly freely in there. There's food and the sort. I would be happy to. Or if you would prefer them here, that is, of course, your choice.
I prefer to keep them here to keep watch.
Understood.
They like shiny things.
Yes, I understand very well. Just wanted to make sure I offered. So, Polynomial, you've been kind of stepping forward. Daisy May, just do you see the list of skills on your character sheet, Bean?
No.
Do you see all your ability scores, like strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, that sort of stuff?
Yes.
Okay, just to the right of that, do you see those two boxes? There's one at the bottom that's labeled saving throws, and then the one underneath it that's a little bit longer that's labeled skills. It's immediately to the right of where it says strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. Do you not, are you not,
I think I got it.
all right, so do you see like acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics, deception, that stuff?
Is it an NPC option?
Wait,
No.
no, okay, I think I see what your problem is. So are you looking on your character sheet at the section called core? Like, are you on the front of the character sheet where it says Daisy May and like rogue and wood elf and stuff? Hey,
No.
Jeremy, are you here?
No, it says
Yeah, I'm here, Pete. I'm looking into it too. I can't figure out.
Would you mind just pulling them away and trying to help them figure it out a little bit while we keep moving?
Yeah, and I'll bump it back down in a minute.
Great, thank you. Jeremy's going to help you get that set up. All right. Sorry about that. We'll get that straightened out right away. So, what were you doing there? What were you doing there, Polly? I think you said you were going to do something, or was it Zurdan who was making a move?
I'm
Zurdan.
going in the bathtub after I set everything down.
All right. Yes. So you put your bird to the side, let them out and perch them there, and you also kind of step in and find yourself also able to breathe in the water. PJ, what's your move?
I'm kind of curious about the whole situation at the moment. I'm tying my hemp rope to the bottom of the tub leg and removing my heavy armor because I don't want to sink like a rock, and leaving my shield and warhammer up here and slowly get into the tub.
Very well. As you kind of are in the process of taking off your heavy armor, the butler looks at you. We do have flotation devices if you would prefer not to remove that. I know it can be quite cumbersome to take off all of that equipment. The Master's created all sorts of objects, if you'd prefer.
Well, sir, since we don't know the
All right, hey Pete, all good.
Excellent.
the exact
They were looking at the
depth of
warhorse.
pool, and unsure of what fish it is, even though I believe I may have an idea. I believe this would be the safest route at this time.
Very well. If you think it's
And I
that's
also
serious.
want to ask you about how many ducks did you say were here at the time?
His rubber duck, so he usually takes at least 4 in. That's what I believe he walked in with, but I can't say I'm certain. As this happens, you hear a giant splash as over to your side, Daisy May jumps into the pool water, kind of flies out and into the space around. The water was very kind of warm and well treated, obviously. A lot of the fish that are hanging around at the surface kind of scatter and swim downwards deeper into the tub. The butler kind of dries himself off a little bit for a moment and says, "I'm sorry, could you repeat your question, sir? I'm very sorry."
Approximately when you first came in, did you happen to notice how many fish you could see
Yes.
at the
Well, I saw a number of fish. I didn't quite count those. With regard to the rubber ducks, I know the master came in with 4 of them. If you think that information would be helpful in your...
And there's more than 5 fish then in the pool?
Well, I think there are more now than there were when I looked before. Although a lot of them looks like they've scattered off. The pool's not that deep. I don't know. And he's just kind of confused, it looks a little bit now.
Oh, that's okay. This is just being cautious, you know, in case we need to pull him out and he's having a hard time swimming. He may be very tired, may have a muscle cramp, may need help.
Well,
Did
we
I click
appreciate you
it?
being so thorough. Yes, it popped up. If you look in the chat on the right side, you should see you got a 14 for athletics. And I guess we appreciate you being so thorough and, well, helping out the master. So I will, I will leave you to it. If you have any more need of me, I will be just, waiting over for your call. And he steps over to the side. Polly, you've been in here for a little bit. What are you doing?
Just probably waiting like at the right where the bottom of the staircase before the huge drop.
Okay. Yeah, you're just kind of waiting, treading water a little bit underwater, waiting for others to kind of join along. Zurdan, what are you up to?
I literally walk off the steps and just let myself sink.
Zurdan is also wearing heavy armor, and Zurdan, as such, you do just begin to move down slowly. PJ, you're kind of there, like fastening the rope, finding a good thing to tie it off to, and stepping around to the kind of edge, and I imagine like lowering yourself in pretty gently here.
Yeah, taking a gradual, trying to notice the fish as I go down, trying to look for differences I might see, like in their eyes or fins, or probably their gill.
All right, so yeah, you're going down there. Make me a nature check while you do that, but also you also just see Zurdan just start to sink down to the depths almost immediately, and very quickly leaves sight, just disappearing into the murky waters. Kind of made a little bit less transparent, maybe by bath salts or just the natural salinity of the water around here. 19 nature check. So you're looking at these fish, and when you first looked at them, a lot of them were very familiar. Like you thought you saw a flounder, and you were thinking you were seeing a lot of like ocean fish, but the more you're looking at them, the more they're starting to feel definitely a little bit off. What you thought was maybe like a school of sardines or something that was kind of flitting around not far from the surface are different. They are a little bit like sharper in color, and just things about the fish around you are just a touch off of what's normal for maybe the natural things that you might find in an ocean somewhere in the world. But that's what you're noticing.
So I should attempt to grab the fish.
If you would like to try and grab onto a fish, you're welcome to make a sleight of hand check. But that's what you see as you go down, and you go down to the length of your rope, PJ. And as you hit that kind of, it reaches its length relatively quickly, about
50 feet.
About the 50 feet, and there's a lot of space below you. You also, reaching out, you can no longer feel the walls or sides of this. It's just open water around you.
Are we able to communicate under there?
No one's tried to do so as of yet. You snatch a fish out of the water around you with relative ease with a 22, Daisy May. As you whip up, you just have it looks almost like an eel or something in your hands. It's kind of like wriggling and trying to let go, trying to get away, but you have an firm grip to do with what you will.
I will put this in my backpack.
All right, you shove
a good idea.
You shove an eel into your backpack for later use, and you're in your inventory. It now just has +1 eel, and Polly, what are you doing? Your friends are kind of starting to delve a little bit deeper. It looks like.
Polly follows them down.
Okay. Yeah, you see Polly maybe not sinking in the same way Zurdan did with his heavier armor, but kind of swimming down not far behind, also kind of leaving sight. Zurdan, you're the first to hit the kind of floor, and it's not terribly far away. You maybe went down about 200 or so feet. You can see above you the silhouettes of some of your friends and kind of a distant glowing circle of light that is presumably the bath that you came from. But also down here, you can see right at the base ground level, there is just sort of like some ambient light that's kind of like drifting around. Maybe it's from the bathtub above, but it feels a lot like the ocean floor. But in a rock, there's some like, kelpin things that are drifting upwards. There's other fish and creatures of those sorts, but kind of wedged into a rock, put in such a way to prevent it from floating. You can see a rubber duck seems to have been placed here at the bottom. Bright yellow in contrast to the rest of the things here.
So there's a rubber duck stuck between the rocks.
Yeah, so it seems like it's been placed there intentionally so it wouldn't float upwards.
Guys, what if he turned himself into a rubber duck?
So, well, at least I don't have to worry about darkness down here. And I casually use my sword as a crowbar to pluck the duck, so to speak, out of the rock.
That's weird. I'm getting, I got it open twice, that's why. All right, yeah, so you kind of reach out, and I mean, it's not really difficult. It wasn't like wedged in there that tightly, just enough so it wouldn't float to the surface. So you can just, you pluck it out. You're kind of holding on to it. At this point, Polly, you kind of get down and you see this as well. Daisy, are you swimming down with your with your allies as well? I know, PJ, you're still kind of held on by the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm swimming down.
All right. Yeah, Polly, you reach the bottom and you kind of see this. You kind of see this rubber duck. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna keep a hold of this rubber duck for now. I'm not sure if it has any use, and I think leaving it to float on the surface is just a waste.
All right. What are all of your passive perceptions?
11.
Everyone but maybe PJ, who can't quite see this at the moment.
I was going
12.
to go
How do
up
I check?
and get some more rope.
Okay. You begin kind of climbing upwards, and I'll say that you're kind of doing this while they're doing this thing with the rubber duck. The butler is more than happy to bring you another length of rope. He ends up, all said and done, putting together about another 200 feet of rope for you on top of the 50 that you already have. But that's like all that they have in the manor. They don't keep like, it's like kind of like a fine silk rope. It's not like maybe it's not necessarily what you would want, but it will do the job.
I'd tell him, "Thank you, fine sir." And once that's done, I go back down, tie it back off, and make my way down to the rest of my team.
All right. In that case, those of you who are down at the bottom, passive perception, it would be underneath the skills. There'd be a thing that says passive wisdom and then parentheses perception, just the number that displays there. So 14 for you, PJ.
11 for me.
Zurdan
12.
11, and Polynomial. So I don't think any of you notice, except for, well, Daisy May, actually, you have a 15. I'm just looking at your character sheet right now. So you have a 15, Daisy May, so you would notice this. Kind of skulking out of the ground from near you, you can see there's something that seems to be crawling out of the sand underneath you from like a little burrowed hole, and you have the kind of foresight and you see this thing popping out in time to warn the party as what looks like a very large crab kind of emerges and begins kind of like scuttling towards you guys with kind of claws raised, and then kind of rising up from the ground. You see two more of these things pop out as I'd like you guys to roll for initiative, but you are not surprised.
Okie dokie.
All right.
Let me.
Do I see these as I'm coming down or when I get down?
I think at this point, I think that it probably took a little while to grab that rope, so I think that you are
Wrong one.
maybe you are kind of seeing them come into action as you're maybe like 50 feet up from them, still kind of swimming down towards them with this length of rope, is I think a fair way to handle it. So you're maybe a little bit outside, but you're now able to see that this action is kind of starting here.
What
so,
were we supposed to roll?
so you're gonna roll initiative. So click towards the top middle. Let's see, initiative there.
Yeah, it should be right next to your armor class number.
And you are, in this instance, the first to act, PJ. You see these kind of crabs burrowing up in the kind of, they're right on like the outskirts of your vision in this water. Your allies kind of begin preparing themselves. You can hear the sounds of their cause kind of clattering together as they kind of spring into action. What would you like to do, PJ?
Well, I'm going to hold my action for now, since I'm not at the bottom, and kind of wade back, because I'm not wearing any armor and have no weapons, so.
Oh, you didn't carry a weapon with you at the moment?
Nope, I left pretty much everything up top.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were just ditching your armor. All right. In that case, you are just kind of holding yourself back at the moment. As we move next in Initiative 2, that's going to be...
I call out, though. Try to call out, see if I can talk underwater. Make sure one of them is not the boy.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of speak outwards, make sure one is not the boy, and all of you are able to hear PJ's words, maybe a little bit muffled in distance, but traveling unnaturally well in this enchanted pool. As his voice rings out from above there. That's going to bring us next initiative to Polly. What do you want to do, Polly?
Polly is going to cast the cantrip Negative Catch.
Negative. Oh yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah. Go ahead and roll damage on that. A 23 absolutely hits this crab. 8 points of necrotic damage. That's actually not quite enough to kill one of these guys. As you hold out your hand and begin kind of absorbing their kind of life essence there, they take 8 points of necrotic damage. And we move next to Zurdan. What would you like to do, Zurdan?
Well, I use my bonus action to cast Divine Sense. Not Divine Sense. No, why did I say Divine Sense? Divine Favor.
Granting your blade an extra blessing down here in the water.
Yes, and I'm assuming I have disadvantage because I'm underwater.
That unfortunately is true.
Well, it's worth a shot anyway. Have at thee, you fiend!
We got, oh no,
Run!
a natural one, yeah. Your sword swings kind of ineffectually. You are not yet used. You are not yet used to the kind of intricacies of underwater combat, and the sword swing just goes completely wide, getting slowed down by the water. Anything else on your turn, Zurdan?
Nope.
This would be Daisy next, I assume, but they are not in the chat at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going on with them. So it's going to bring us to Crab's turns, who are going to, two of them are going to go up to you, Zurdan, and try and kind of claw at you. Oh, it's a 22.
God damn it, I thought I was invincible. Well, at least the other one doesn't hit.
The unsinkable ship. Classic situation. The 22 is going to hit, and as it kind of grabs onto you with one of its claws, this crab kind of latches into it, kind of crunches some of the armor a little bit, or crunches into it, and you find yourself locked in place by their kind of powerful grip here as you take, as the best they could have done on damage too, 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and then one of them is going to go after you, Polynomial, and that's going to be a 11 to hit.
Miss.
11 misses as you kind of deftly dodge to the side. Bringing us to the top of the initiative. Zurdan, what would you like to do?
Wait, top? Oh, because the other guy's not doing it.
Yeah,
right.
Daisy May's not here and seems to be having some
there
issues.
they go.
There we are.
They roll a 9, but anyway.
We'll get them back in after this one. Actually, you know what, Daisy May? So, you here, Bean?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. So, it's your turn. What would you like to do? There's 3 kind of giant crabs that are skulking around the bottom of the water here. What would you like to do?
I am going to throw the eel at the crab.
Sure, why not? You go ahead and just make me an attack. Just click on either your rapier or dagger, and we'll just count this as the ability modifier for that.
Okie dokie.
But
wait, would it be disadvantaged though because it's a fish though, or no?
I'm gonna give you credit on this one because it's an eel. Basically, what happens is you take this eel and you throw it forward at one of the crabs, removing it from your backpack. I mean, it's not really that effective as a bludgeoning weapon because you're just kind of throwing it through water. But what happens is the eel, I'll say with an 18, what happens with the eel is it kind of like flies forward, and as it was about to kind of grab at you with its 2 claws, the crab just kind of like sinks the claws into the eel instead, and is kind of like wrestling with this thing in its hands now, as it's maybe a little bit thrown off for the round. As we move now to the top of the initiative officially, which is PJ. What would you like to do, PJ?
Yeah, seeing one of my comrades locked in combat, I reach my hand out I say, "Go forth, you ugly beast." And at the present time, I call out, "Young boy, we are here to help. Come forth." And we
Ooh. So one of the crabs is going to make a dexterity saving throw. That is going to be a 17. Wow, that is a dexterous giant crab. You kind of target one of the ones on the ocean floor, and you see it kind of skitters over to the side, moving very naturally on the ocean floor as the sacred flame erupts next to it.
I was aiming for the one that was locked on our comrade. So.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So unfortunately, it does dodge, but it's still. It's still locked on the ally. Unfortunately, is there anything else on your turn?
Just calling out to the young boy to come forth so we may help him.
All right. Yeah. You call out, and you don't immediately see any response. None of the crabs seem to. None of the crabs seem to like respond to that. Like they're maybe him in disguise or transformed in some way. At least immediately. That's going to bring us next to Zurdan. What do you want to do, Zurdan?
Did you skip polynomial?
I believe polynomial was after you. Or I'm not. You're
No,
right.
polynomial was
you're right.
second.
Poly, what do you want to do?
Negative touch.
Do it up.
I clicked it, but it is taking a while for some reason.
19 is going to hit again. Roll damage on that. I imagine you're going after the same crab?
Yep.
The one that you were battling. Another 5 points of necrotic damage to this crab, which is enough to finish it off. That crab kind of shrivels up with the necrotic energy that you kind of lay into it. As we move next in initiative to Zurdan.
Zurdan for reals.
For realsies.
Okay, this is going to be a weird question. Would I have disadvantage if I used my own body, my innate horn attack?
I think that your innate horn attack, because it's just an extension of move. Yeah, I don't think I would give you disadvantage on that. That makes sense to me.
I attempt to slam my head into one of the crabs.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make an attack roll. 22 to hit will absolutely hit, and roll damage on that. 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you batter it with your natural kind of beetle horns. The crab gets thrown backwards into the side, and that actually is enough to finish off this crab. As you kind of batter it over, the shell kind of cracks under the horns, and only one crab. I imagine you were doing the one that was grappling you?
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And that crab is now battered and pushed completely away to the side. Anything else on your turn, Zurdan?
Unfortunately, I have nothing else I can do.
All right. Daisy, what would you like to do? The turn is yours.
There's
Yes.
one crab left.
One crab remains.
I'm gonna attack the crab.
How so? What weapon are you going to use to go after him with?
My dagger.
All right. Go ahead and make an attack roll with your dagger.
Disadvantage because it's in a water.
That's true.
So just roll for your dagger and
Yep,
then
just click on the dagger where you clicked on your rapier before for the eel attack. Yeah, great. That's gonna hit, absolutely. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
but click the dagger in the chat. And it
Yes,
should roll
that's true.
damage.
So do you see where the 18 and 20 just popped up for your dagger roll?
Yeah.
Click the word dagger underneath that 18 and 20. There you go. For 8 points of damage, and you do have an ally within range, so it'll apply the sneak attack. You stab into the crab, and it kind of, as it's still kind of putting its claws up in the air, trying to strike back. It's not quite enough to finish it off. As we move next in the initiative to the crab's turn, which is going to kind of whip around and It's actually, at this point, this is the crab that you had put the eel in its hands. So at this point, it just kind of clenches down its claws and definitely kills this eel that you threw at it as it kind of puts the two pieces of the eel to the side, but it wastes its turn kind of still wrestling with this eel.
No! Mr. Squiggles!
Mr. Squiggles, unfortunately, is no more. But it does not get a chance to attack you, which is probably for the best. As we move next to PJ, it's your turn again, top of initiative.
There is one final beast. Is it within 60 feet of range?
Absolutely, yeah.
Cursed crab, I hope you did not hurt this young boy we are...
They're going to make another dexterity saving throw. And they fail this time. The crab right next to you, Daisy May, just as you kind of curse it, you see PJ above kind of unleash this holy flame, which ignites the crab, completely finishing it off. And
Can I have the crab meat? Can I have the crab meat?
You absolutely
you eat the one that kills Mr. Squiggles.
Yes!
You absolutely can begin kind of harvesting some of these crabs for their meat. And with that, all of these crabs are defeated. Do you want to come to a rest on the floor? You now have enough rope to get to the bottom, PJ.
Yes, I will go ahead and go down and check any wounds on my compatriots.
All right. Actually, I think only Zurdan was hurt. Zurdan.
I can use lay on hands on myself for 7 out of my 10 hit points.
All right, yeah. Looks like with Zurdan healed up, everyone's actually in pretty good shape from that little brief skirmish.
Then I will inquire where he found the ducky.
It was lodged between some rocks.
We should maybe investigate that area a little better.
You kind of go over. You go over to the kind of area by the rocks where the duck was lodged, and you can see signs that like the rocks were arranged very much intentionally in this way, just to prevent it from floating up to the surface. Which now that you're kind of holding it in your hands, you can see it's it is inclined to do. Over where you were getting some of that crab meat, weren't you, Daisy?
Yeah.
As you're kind of beginning to harvest that, you hear a voice over to your side kind of speak out and say, excuse me. Me too? I wanted some... Is this all yours? I thought you were maybe just defending yourselves, but maybe I thought I could eat some of the crabs once you guys were done, like, defending yourselves. Are you going to eat all 3 of these crabs, or...
You can have some. You can have some.
Are you the wizard we were sent to look after that got lost in the bathtub?
What? No. Hi. Hello. Don't mind me. I'm going to just take one of these. And you see, kind of floating next to you, a kind of a blue-skinned merman, something like that. Their speech is a little bit kind of like they're speaking almost in what would be a little bit more of an unintelligible, kind of like a. There's kind of a bubble to it, but you can still kind of hear common amongst it that you're able to make it out. And it would probably be unlistenable if I actually did that the whole time. But he kind of looks over you. I'm going to work on this crab over here. As he begins kind of very skillfully pulling the shell off the crab and kind of getting some of the meat out from the inside.
I'm going to ask the merfolk. Have you seen a little gnome under the water?
I don't know what a gnome is.
Little short man.
About my size, but thinner. I'm a dwarf.
I saw another one like you without any fins or skin. Yes. About your size, but yes. And he goes, he gave me this. And he kind of reaches into kind of what looks like a satchel made from kelp that he's carrying and pulls out another kind of brilliant, a brilliant kind of yellow rubber duck in his hand. And he goes, I traded it to him. It's just so bright. Never seen anything quite like it before. I gave him one of our seahorses. He said he wanted to explore the area. He was new in town.
Do you happen to know which way he went?
He rode off down towards the ravine. I told him it was a good kind of tourist spot. There's a number of shipwrecks around the area.
I find this very disturbing. Shipwrecks in a bathtub. What have I come to?
A bathtub.
This is a blessed pool, it has to be.
He kind of looks at you a little bit confused. I mean, this is our home. Well, if you're looking for that one, consider it free advice. Thank you for the crab. And they kind of finish gutting the inside of this crab and begin kind of turning to swim off.
Can I roll to see how horny I am for this mer person?
No.
You can choose that,
Keep this
but
PG,
please keep it relatively PG. But you can also decide that arbitrarily. He kind of goes and swims off after kind of showing you a path towards what he called the ravine.
Okay, so the ravine.
Well, it looks like we'll be down here a bit more, so I better go get some.
This only means we have to go deeper.
Are you gonna gear back up, PJ?
I'm gonna go back up and kind of give the butler an update on where we're at, and gather some equipment and head back down.
Okay. You put together your ensemble again. You guys kind of take 5. You now have your rope kind of leading down, so even though through your heavy armor, you'll be able to like climb back up relatively easily. A little bit of work, but doable at least. And you guys begin kind of working your way down towards the ravine, and it's not far from here. The diversity of aquatic life here is incredible. As you're all looking around, you see strange like manta rays that have like extra sets of fins kind of coming out from the side and that are incredibly large. You can see other things that are just strange and unrecognizable to you, but it's like its own new world unto itself that you're walking into. And as you continue forward, eventually you begin to see this kind of downward tick, and then just a fissure in the ground where leading down. You can see a number of what look like, well, shipwrecks, but the ships here aren't what you would normally think of as a ship. Most of them appear to be covered, looking like they're ships that are designed to be piloted underwater rather than on top of the water. But some of them are still kind of made of wood.
Are they like piloted by the mer people?
You're not sure about that. All you can see here are the ruins of them. There's no one certainly piloting them right now, and you can see that there are a number of different scattered pieces. The one that's the most striking is one that's still relatively intact, that looks like it kind of sunk down into the ravine and then got caught on the walls on either side of the cliff's edge, and just kind of grated and came to a halt, kind of here in the middle of it. That's the most noticeably provocative one that you see.
I do have an idea.
Possibly see a seahorse that's tied up nearby.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
I'm giving it a minute, so.
I had an idea because this ravine looks rather big, and it might take a long time to search. So
Can I
need to
go
test.
up to the...
You want to go up to what?
Can I go up to the ship?
Yeah, you can swim over to it. You get over to the side, and you can see that there are kind of like big cracks and holes in the side of the hull of this underwater kind of vehicle here. You can see that the wood's chipped, but you're able to enter in. It's pretty dark on the inside of it. Do you have dark vision? Oh, you are an elf, of course. So yes, you're able to see very dimly in kind of like gray tones down here in the darkness. Make me a perception check as you're looking around on the inside. Your investigation, PJ, you were kind of looking around. You got a 2. You don't immediately see a seahorse tied up anywhere. So it's starting to get a little bit darker in the area that you're at. 7. All right, yeah, so you're looking around, and also I know you have a passive of 15 too. You don't notice anything beyond this, but you do notice that within this space, there are a couple of things. You're looking at the ruins of this ship. There's like what looks like an old sort of there's an old like treasure chest that's been just left open, and anything in it has been long kind of picked away. You can see the remains of a couple of like people. You can see a couple of bodies that have just become skeletal, and their anatomies have a few extra arms on them, obviously kind of very alien. But the thing that you most noticed is it looks like a bunch of very large clams have kind of come down and made something of a bed for themselves on the interior of this ship. And one of those clams has a rubber duck that is currently like jammed into the shell. You can just see the head of it kind of sticking out while the rest of it is clamped down around it.
I'm gonna try to get the rubber duck.
All right, what is everyone else doing?
I am going back. I'm going back up to the surface of the tub.
That's a pretty good ways away at this point.
I know, but I wanted to try something.
I would just say, like, keep in mind, I'll say, you know what, we can say that you did this before you set out to this point.
Yeah,
what is it that you wanted to do, Zurdan?
I want to bring the bird.
Fair enough.
Can the bird breathe when I take it underwater?
They don't seem to like it immediately. It takes them a while to adjust to this much different type of air. But after time in their cage, they kind of settle down, and yeah, they can breathe the same as you can.
Okay, I show it the rubber ducky, and I tell the bird, go look for more bright ducky. I want to see if the bird can scout the area, since this is a big ravine after all.
Okay. The bird begins to kind of like awkwardly fly swim, which here the bird does not seem the most equipped as a familiar in this particular environment. They're trying to move through the water, but they already have like a bird's land speed, which is then halved in swimming speed. So they're moving actually slower than you, unfortunately, Zurdan.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Worth a shot.
I put it back in the cage and just keep it with me then. He can survive.
But they do kind of like, they are kind of seeming to have some fun now that they're getting used to the water, kind of floating around in their cage. Daisy May, go ahead and make me a strength check.
Or athletics check.
Yeah, athletics function for this. So 22. All right, so you reach out and you grab the rubber ducky that's kind of wedged into the mouth of the clam, and as you pull it out, the clam, which was just slightly kind of open, completely slams shut after that, and then you just hear coming from within the clam a muffled "damn it," and then you can hear coming from within the clam just. And just the sound of someone like groaning.
How big is this clam?
It's pretty big. It's maybe like 8 feet across.
Wow, that's a
My character is like shocked at this point. She's like trying to get the clam back open.
Yeah, giant clam. Maybe I wasn't descriptive enough. Yeah, these things are huge.
Now would be a good time for me to use my sword like a crowbar this time.
So yeah, you want to swim down to here? PJ, you with them as well?
Yeah, I was already moving that direction once I saw
Okay.
her wrestling with this object in the clam.
Do all of
Guys, I
you have
think I
dark vision?
suffocated some.
Zurdan, do you have dark vision?
I don't even know. Do Beetle Therians have dark vision?
I cannot remember off the top of my head. It would be on your character sheet, I assume, if you did.
No, they do not.
Yeah, it is pretty, well, that's all. Suffice it to say, it is pretty dark down here. You could probably use some light if you have any way to do that. But for now, you want to, you kind of get guided over by Daisy to where the clam is. You said you want to try and pry it open?
Yes, I wish to pry it open, and I wish to use my sword as to pry it open like a crowbar.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check. I imagine that some of your party is kind of helping you with this action. If you're not the only one.
Advantage.
Yeah, go ahead and make me an athletics check with advantage.
There's 3 of us there, so.
Yeah, it makes sense. 23. Yeah, so Zurdan, you rear down and you begin kind of wedging into it. And eventually, once you push back hard enough, the clam just kind of like snaps all of a sudden and just completely opens wide. And you hear a voice just go, "How did it find?" And you see what appears to be a gnome looking back at you from inside the kind of belly of this clam.
I assume you're the gnome that got lost in the tub.
Not lost. Exploring.
No, you got
Well-
stuck in a clam, young boy. Your sister's worried. Let's go.
I did not get stuck in a clam. I put myself in a clam. Wait, where is... And he kind of looks around kind of nervously. Where was... I went into the clam because there was a very big cephalopod, and it came after... we should get out of here. Do you know where we are? I left the breadcrumbs. I put the ducks to find my way. You didn't take those, did you?
we had
we
some,
ran into
we had some
ducks.
rope
We ran
down
into-
here.
We ran into some crabs. I think they might have messed with the ducks.
Well, we'll
Yeah,
find...
it was definitely the crab.
We'll find our way. For now...
Yeah, you've been in here for like 6 hours.
For now, let's get... and as he's kind of in the middle of that sentence... with your, I think with all of your passive perceptions, actually, you hear kind of a sudden, like, rushing of water coming from outside, and kind of see a large, dark shape kind of cross in front of one of the holes of the interior of this, like, underwater craft.
Okay, y'all, we need to get out of here now.
Yeah, you don't need to say that again.
Are we able to see this 200 feet of rope still that I brought down?
You are a little bit of a ways away from... You had to walk, like, maybe 1,000 feet to get to this thing called the ravine. So you're a ways away from it at this point. Also, a little bit down into this ravine inside of this... inside of this ruined ship. So you don't have a lot of resources here at your disposal as you see this kind of shape.
Well, I guess, is that the cephalopod?
I think that's it.
Well, I guess
could-
I guess we have no choice but to deal with it for now.
I connected my tub to the elemental plane of water. I'd heard about it quite a bit. I didn't think it would be so dangerous, frankly.
It's
I
an
wanted-
entire plane of water.
I
What
wanted
do
to
you
see-
think what happened.
I wanted to see cool fish. I met a merc person and they lent me a seahorse. That was fun.
Well, part of your journey was fine and dandy, but now part of it is dangerous and gloomy. We should try to
Hey,
get out of here.
Hey,
Okay,
Mr.
well,
Gnome Person.
Lead the way.
Mr. Gnome Person. I am sorry for shutting you in the clam. I didn't mean...
It's fine. Let's just get out of here. And he begins kind of moving. Do you think it's safe to go through? You see around kind of another crack. You see that dark shape kind of pass by again.
Next time you want to create an enchanted bathtub, talk to Bartholomew.
Okay.
Or just
I'm
buy some
going to
fish.
lead the way. I think if I don't think a cephalopod is going to hurt me as much as a crab did.
But okay, then you can distract it while we escort the gnome out of here.
In that
Okay.
case, so you're gonna go
Well,
out first.
we should all travel together, but yes, in a group.
Well, technically, only the gnome has to get out of here. The rest of us are completely expendable.
Expendable is a very, very poor term to put it, but yes.
Well, we'll just be revived back at Bartholomew's shop. As long as the gnome makes it out, we're good.
Yes, but we got to get him to at least the rope because he doesn't know his way out. So we should travel as a team. It's a smarter.
Yep.
So you're gonna lead the way out of here, though, Zurdan?
Yeah, I'm going to try to lead the way out for the others.
What did you say? You're actually go ahead and you're looking around. I imagine. But you have you lack the dark vision.
I lack dark vision, and even then, my passive perception is very low.
Yeah, so you actually aren't able to see this. As soon as you kind of are pushing forward and as you're kind of pushing forward and getting ready to lead the group out, unbeknownst to you, everyone kind of sees this at the last second, but a massive tentacle whips down and, oh my god, it crits too. Holy hell. As it reaches out and kind of strikes and grabs onto you, you just see this tentacle reach up, lash around Zurdan, and pull them up. You take 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. So what happens is I go out there. Everything seems fine for the moment. He's like, see, there's nothing to worry about. Ah! They just get grabbed and pulled away.
And you just get pulled upwards above them. I would like you all now to officially roll for initiative. This guy's going to. Man, you're getting bad luck. You have such a high armor class, but these guys are just rolling so well. They're going to go last in initiative, however. As we move first to you, Polly. What would you like to do, Polly? You see your ally just get, like, a tentacle reaches down and pulls into the hole and drags them up kind of above and into the space, like, above the exit from the ship that you're going out. So it's somewhere, like, above the threshold that you would be leaving through.
Did I send my...
Polly's going to
Yeah, you got
attack
your initiative.
the creature with fractal missiles.
Currently, you can't see it, so you would have to, like, swim out into the open in order to see it kind of on the outside of the ship. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, yeah, you see now, it looks something like, it's not exactly like any you've ever seen, but it looks like a massive octopus that currently has Zurdan just grabbed by a tentacle, and then Zurdan just kind of getting swung around in the air.
I'm gonna name him Squidward.
Fair enough.
We're gonna kill Squidward.
Yeah, you might be a bad person to name, but 11 points of force damage. The magic missiles kind of lighten the darkness, and for the first time, as the bits of light kind of crash into the giant octopus, you're able to see the thing that's now kind of pulled you up near its face, where you see beyond the fact that it's a giant, like, octopus, it also looks like it has this weird, like, lamprey-like mouth and these rows of circular teeth that it's dragging you towards currently. Zurdan is what you see for a brief moment, and then you're in darkness again after the magic missile fades. That's going to bring us next to you, Zurdan.
So it's an action for me to escape the grapple. Otherwise, I'm fish food. Lovely.
you want to try and break away? You could try and cut off the tentacle that's holding on to you, although that might be a tall order as well.
Okay, I have a in all
Because
seriousness,
you
I
are
have a weird
currently
question.
restrained.
If I use my horn attack, does that count as a weapon attack if it's a natural weapon?
It is a weapon attack, yeah.
Good, because I'm gonna horn attack, and if it hits, I'm smiting it with my face.
That's really cool. I don't know if that works, but we're going to allow it today, and I'll look it up later. Because that's really cool.
Does a 19 hit?
You have disadvantage, unfortunately, because you're restrained and in darkness and underwater. There's a lot of reasons. 10.
Damn it.
10 just barely misses. You kind of go and flail your horn about in the water, but you're unable to find any purchase as the octopus kind of continues to grab you. As we move next to PJ. What do you want to do, PJ? One of your allies has been pulled into the darkness.
How far away is he?
You just saw, like, you were maybe 10 feet from the exit. He was a little bit in front of you, kind of leading it. And he stepped out, and this happened. So the creature is, you can't see it currently, but you'd guess like 15 feet in front of and above you on the outside of the ship that you are inside.
How much pain are you in? I call out before I do anything.
About to be in infinite pain if you don't get your...
Okay, so I can't touch him.
You could swim, you could get to him.
So I can move to him and touch him? All right.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to. You could get to his legs. Because while you're kind of walking on the ground here at base level, I'm just giving you kind of basically your land speed, so.
I reach over and touch him real quick. Feel better, my friend.
I don't... whatever you're gonna do, I don't think it's gonna stop me from being fish food.
That didn't link.
There we
There
go.
it is.
You gain 3
then-
hit points.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see here. Hold on.
It already loaded for us.
oh yeah, I think he has a bonus action.
As a bonus action, I invoke my War Priest.
Ooh. Unfortunate. You kind of empower your weapon for a moment as you swing upwards and make the bonus action attack as a War Priest, but unfortunately, the attack does not connect. And you, Zurdan, however, do regain 3 points of healing as you are, hopefully will give you the saving grace you need as you are being devoured by this octopus. That's going to bring us next initiative to... it is Daisy. What would you like to do, Daisy? There's an octopus eating your friend. Your allies are kind of a little bit over on the edge at the threshold of this now. What do you want to do?
I
Daisy?
want to.
Oh.
I want to strike it.
All right, you're gonna swim up and attack. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
With your weapon of choice.
You. Just the same way you clicked like rapier or dagger before. Go ahead and make me that attack roll. The rapier strike, unfortunately, is not going to hit, barely missing again, as you go up and stab, and you're just a little bit off. Is there anything else on your turn, Daisy? Bad luck.
Can I disguise myself as a squid?
Probably not all on the same turn, unfortunately. Might be a little bit tough.
Oh, okay.
If you have a bonus, something that says bonus action on it. But I don't know if you would. I just remember that you're level 1, so I don't know if you would. So that's going to bring us to the octopus's turn, which is going to look over at you, Polynomial. They already have someone grappled, so instead they're just going to try and whack you, not grappling you. Oh my god, they're rolling really well. That's a 20 to hit, Polynomial.
Yep.
That's 9 points of bludgeoning damage as a tentacle just reaches out and slaps into you. And this is going to be against you. This is going to be against you, Zurdan, and they have advantage on this. As they are going to... just the first one, so 23. That's a 23 to hit.
Unfortunately, the 8 kind of knocks me out. However, how does the golem plate armor work?
Oh yeah, that's what your thing does, doesn't it?
How does that work? Am I just a puppet now, or what?
I don't know. Read it while we work our way around to your turn. Yeah, I think that you just auto attack now. Is what happens. So on your turn, just make an attack roll. You can't use your features, but you can just smack it. And it is Polynomial's turn first. I forgot that you had that. What a ridiculous item.
Alright, Polynomial's gonna use... Let's see. It's been rolling really well. Let's see. Do I risk it? No, I will. Trajectory. Which is...
They're gonna make
version yeah.
yes.
I'm putting in the... Yeah, I'm gonna...
You're gonna make a dexterity saving throw, which they fail, taking 14 points of bludgeoning damage. What are you sending at them with your catapult spell or trajectory spell?
I would say a piece of wood from the shipwreck.
Okay, yeah. So you blast it out towards them, and it strikes in, and as it does, it kind of pierces through, and they take 14 points of damage from that. The thing, as the tentacles kind of flail about in rage, and you can see the octopus was like trying to eat you, Zurdan, and as they did so, they like went to just. That's what that second attack was them trying to like basically just put you down, and your body is still kind of moving, even though you should be dead by all means, which is throwing it off, and it can't seem to eat you for some reason. As we're moving next...
Oh, he's just hungry!
It is now your turn, Zurdan, and you get to make an attack. I also need you to make me a...
Yeah, I have to make a okay, so reading this over, it says I gain the armor gains the stats of its wearer, and gets to use any magic items it has equipped, but I can't really do anything else.
Yeah, so go ahead and make me a death saving throw for starters.
Yay!
You close to success, and then go ahead and make me an attack while your unconscious body pilots itself with its armor. 13's gonna hit! Roll damage! Making contact.
I clicked it, is it not?
There
we go.
5 points of slashing damage, the most damage anyone's ever done on an attack roll while dead. As you swipe and strike for 5 points of slashing damage. Anything else on your turn?
No, I can't. I honestly can't feel anything.
That's going to bring us next to PJ. There's some strange things happening around you. What would you like to do?
Yes, I call out, throw the crab meat. I reach over and touch these weird moving armor, trying to help my friend back.
And you shout out, you snap back to life, Zurdan.
And still feeling invigorated from my priestly vow, I swing my hammer desperately, trying to knock it away.
10 unfortunately just misses again. Rough luck here.
Desperately.
Yeah, off by one. But you heal your ally as you shout out, throw the crab meat, to, I imagine Daisy May, whose turn it is now.
Yes.
Daisy, what do you want to do?
I ask the squid if it's hungry, and I offer it crab.
Go ahead and make me an animal handling check. And I'm going to give you advantage because I feel like you're getting assistance from PJ on this one. So I'm going to give you advantage on this animal handling check. 16. You see the crab kind of, or I'm sorry, the octopus, not the crab. The crab's had a rough day. The octopus, who's been trying to eat Zurdan in this kind of golem body, is going to just let go after having no success eating basically this giant block of stone that he's trying to bite into, and instead reaches out and kind of begins scooping some of the crab meat into its mouth with one of its tentacles. And it's kind of distracted, so it's going to make one less strike this turn, and it lets Zurdan go as you do this. And on the other half of its turn, with one hand, it's grappling the crab meat and eating it, which it's not going to roll for. It successfully does that. And then it's going to make an attack, I think, against you, PJ. Not you, Daisy May. It doesn't seem mad at you because you just handed a bunch of crab meat. But that's, man, this thing's rolling hot. That's, actually, no, it doesn't have advantage against you, so that's just a 15.
That's a miss.
All right, yeah, you batter it away. It clatters against your armor, which you recently redonned. And that's all for the octopus's turn. It's also looking pretty... It's starting to look pretty wounded at this point. As we move next initiative to the top, Polly, what do you want to do?
Polly is going to attack it again with fractal missiles.
It takes another, with your magic missile, automatic 12 points of force damage. They kind of strike into the octopus, which some of the crab it just ate kind of like spittles out, and it kind of is like trying to scoop it back up with its tentacles. And it's starting to like move into what looks like a more defensive, like it wants to get out of here posture, hiding from you guys more than you from it. That's going to bring us next to Zurdan. What do you want to do?
I'm going to face smite it.
Fair enough. Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Yeah.
20. I don't have disadvantage.
No, you're gonna kill it!
Go ahead and roll damage plus smite.
Yep, I forgot what the smite damage was. Dang.
I don't know if Squidward's making it out of this one. We'll see what the number is.
Well, it just
No, I wanted to friend the
2d8.
squid!
It's 2d8. Okay, so this is 1d6 plus 3. And it's taking a while to load. That's the 2d8.
Plus an extra
5.
5. 17
Guys,
points of
he
damage.
just wants a friend!
17 points of damage. You're not sure if it just wants a friend.
It clearly wants to eat us.
Regardless of what it wants, it will never want anything again. As Zurdan, would you care to describe your killing blow on this octopus?
Okay, so this is gonna be very complex, but I use the faith of my king and channel it into my head as I literally bolt into the face of this octopus and just ram into it. While my face just starts glowing.
Daisy is just like bawling her eyes out.
Oh no! As just a gnarly headbutt, completely shattering what kind of structure, not bone structure, but cartilage was kind of holding the form of the octopus together, and it just kind of begins just kind of floating and drifting lifeless in the water.
On the bright side,
your foes.
She screams, "You killed Squidward!"
It was
clearly an octopus, not a squid, and now we can eat calamari.
He'll make better food than probably the crab.
But it just wanted a friend!
It wanted to eat us, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it tried to eat Zurdan.
In contrast, you can see like you can see your gnome wizard kind of pokes his head out from the side, and in contrast, it did try to eat me. Sorry, it wasn't more help. I used up all my juice making a portal to the plane of water.
You use up your
Daisy glares at him and just walks away and sits down because she's having a temper
She just harumps in the corner.
Yeah, you take a moment to kind of mourn Squidward's passing, but also, so perhaps we should just get a move on, get out of here.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, we should probably. I mean, we could
I
take
believe
the
your
with us if you want.
sister may have dinner done for you.
I mean, hey, besides, Bartholomew can always
Fisher
bring it back.
friends, not food.
Well,
Actually,
Bartholomew can
my
always
culture
bring it
fish
back.
are
I mean,
huge
if you
delicacy.
really want him to.
And as you kind of say Fisher friends, not food, you can see some much larger shapes that are kind of stirring in the bottom of the ravine from the commotion that are starting to come up. Well, people are food here, so maybe we should actually hurry out. And he begins just kind of heedless of all of you, booking it back in the direction that you guys came.
Probably Nomial follows.
Zurdan will also follow with bird in tow.
Yes, we're heading as quickly as
I'm like sagging, but I follow, like sobbing.
If you really wanted him as a friend, you could always bring him back. I mean, as a pet of some sort. Though, I don't know if he'll do it. But it is a choice.
And these are the kind of final moments of discussion you have as whatever was stirring in the deep, you're able to get out before it becomes too much of a threat. You find your way eventually back to the rope that you hung, using that one kind of point of light as a guide, and climb back up and return. As he kind of emerges from the pool, the butler steps over Bertram and I am so thankful that you are safe, Master. What happened down there? He goes, well...
He opened a portal to the plane of water.
I opened a portal to the plane of
Killed
water.
my squid.
I didn't do anything to your squid. That wasn't me. I was just hiding. I was just scared and do I owe you guys money for this?
Yes, yes you do.
I'm sure your sister has the money.
I have already received your payment. Allow me to recompensate you. And the butler walks over and hands each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks. The price for a story-tiered adventure. Each of you gain 1 point of experience, which means if you were level 1, you are now level 2. And with that, it's all over but the shouting. You guys have successfully completed this adventure. You have rescued our gnome wizard from the depths of his own bathtub. And congratulations on your victory here today, though it may have come for some at a great cost. But yeah, that's going to do it for us on this first adventure. So now I would ask, would any of you like to shop?
I actually think I will.
In that case, after kind of discussing things with the sister, clearing up business, and saying kind of some brief goodbyes, you eventually return to the teleportation circle and work your way back to Bartholomew's shop, who, as you all enter, greetings, adventurers. I trust that everything went well for you in your endeavors in the land.
I may have upset Daisy.
Oh, did you encounter some difficulty on your journey?
She's mad that I killed a giant octopus.
Sometimes you do have to kill giant octopuses. That is part of the job.
She wanted to make it a friend.
Yes. It can be hard not to grow too attached to the monsters that you slay. I know many in the lands of DnDTime that have had this problem. I am sorry for your loss at this time, Daisy. But whilst you mourn, perhaps some of you might engage in some commerce. Is there anything I can get for any of you?
I'd like to do a bag pull, please.
That we can do. And Bartholomew takes out his bag as you engage in the Bartholomew's Big Bag Bonanza. Go ahead and roll me a D1000. Of course, as always, I wish you the best of luck. Show me one of those high numbers.
And
457. Let us see what.
Nice middle number.
Yeah, right in the middle. So you reach into the bag, and you find within, your hand passes over first, what appears to be a weapon, a spear. It shocks you a little bit as you hold on to it. Not your style. And then perhaps the next thing that you touch as you're kind of sifting through the bag, it's small, but another bit of steel, another weapon perhaps. What you end up settling on, it's a little bit smaller. It's an orb. As you pull it out, it looks like a very large pearl that has been just very beautifully polished. And as Bartholomew speaks up to you, he goes, this is another classic that we see from time to time. This is a pearl of power. While you're holding on it, you can speak a command word and use it to regain an expended spell slot. If the spell slot was of the 4th level or higher, the spell slot would be of 3rd level at most, essentially. You can do that once every dawn. But he hands you over a pearl of power. And you have gained that item, which will land in your inventory. Does anyone else have anything they want to purchase at this time?
I unfortunately don't think I have enough money for you today.
And for Daisy and PJ, there's a whole list of stuff that we have available and prices for it in the website. If you want to check it out and see if you want to buy something tonight, you can just let us know and we'll get you later on in the evening.
I think I'm good tonight. Thank you.
Great. In that case, that's going to wrap us up for tonight. Thank you all for watching, everyone, but we'll be back shortly with the second adventure. See you all pretty soon.